Hi folks, it's Wayne Popovic here in the corporate center at Venture RV to talk to you today about the newly redesigned 251VBH SportTrek bunkhouse layout. First thing you notice on the front is a molded 3/4 cap, fiberglass cap with a stone guard down below to protect it from any debris coming off your tow vehicle. A lighted power tongue jack, so when you're hooking up at night, you've got plenty of light and you don't have to crank it at all. Two 20-pound tanks with quick access cover. Okay. Solar panel hookup on the front with big storage doors and magnetic catches. As an added bonus, we added motion detector lights on the inside of the pass-through, so they come on automatically when you open the door. Let's take a second look inside the pass-through storage on the SportTrek. You've got nearly 50 cubic feet of storage space in here, which is big for its class. You don't typically see that much storage. Up front, you'll see the switch for the LED light on the front. That also operates LED lights underneath the stabilizers. There's a blue LED that creates a nice ground effect, and when you're moving into your campsite, it creates enough light to be able to see everything without flooding the campground with white light. Also inside, you'll notice that there's a 12-volt battery disconnect. So all in your pass-through storage there. There's another thing we do different at Venture in the way we put our trailers together than most, and that's in the floor construction. We talked about the frame a little bit. It is a fully enclosed and heated underbelly, but what's different is what sits on top of that frame. Most manufacturers in the industry, if you have a laminated sidewall, they also use a laminated panel for their floors. The center of this sidewall is styrofoam. You've got aluminum perimeter frame and structure and expanded polystyrene insulation in the middle. That's high density styrofoam. The problem with styrofoam is that when you have it in a horizontal application, the styrofoam compresses. In a vertical application in a wall, there's no pressure on the styrofoam. What happens in a floor, though, is in your traffic patterns where you walk the most and where you stand the most. If you have a lot of people in and out, you can develop soft areas in the floor because that styrofoam over time compresses and it doesn't push back. And that will lead to significantly reduced values on trade-ins when you're done using your camper after 5 or 8 or 10 years, however long it is before you trade it in. What we do to solve that problem is we don't use any styrofoam in our floors. We use a deck that's 5/8 tongue and groove plywood on top of wooden floor joists that are 16 inches on center, running front to back, with fiberglass insulation. It's really more like a residential floor construction than it is a styrofoam floor in a travel trailer. The upside is it's repairable. If there ever is a catastrophic failure, you can actually cut a piece of that out and replace it and you're back to original structure. Styrofoam floors, there's really no way to even repair them. So it's a huge advantage down the road if you plan on, 1, using your camper, and 2, ever trading it in. At the front door here, we've got triple aluminum entry steps, fold up out of the way, lightweight, and very durable. You'll notice that a huge entry assist grab handle at the door for easy access. Moving back to the tires, there are super lube hubs on the tires, so you don't have to pull the tires to ever pack the bearings. More likely they're going to be maintained properly. And these green caps mean there's nitrogen in the tires, so they run cooler and you get better tread wear. One of the best features of the 251 VBH is the slide-out kitchen. And what you'll notice that's different about many of them is that this is a metal drawer that slides in now. Unlike a lot of outside kitchens that are made out of wood or particle board, this is going to be protected from the elements. You're not going to get any swelling or cracking if this outside kitchen gets wet, and you know it's going to get wet. You got a sprayer faucet that hooks on like this, a 2-burner cooktop, and your little cube refrigerator. Moving to the back of the unit, we find a rear ladder. It's collapsible to make room for the cargo tray on the back. The ladder just folds down like so for access to the full walk-on roof. The rack is a fantastic feature because you can use it for so many things. You can strap bikes to it, generators, whatever you want, take it with you. And it's powder coated. unlike some manufacturers in the industry that just spray them or dip them. This is going to give you superior corrosion protection. And it simply folds up and out of the way if you're not using it. Two other things on the back I want to talk about. One is we have a dedicated cable and satellite hookup. If you're a satellite family, you take your satellite dish and your receiver with you. You plug directly into the satellite. There's no need to rewire the cable side through the booster that way. This thing will go directly through the satellite. And it's also pre-wired for a Furrion backup camera system. Right? It's all set up, and it's basically plug and play. You take the little panel off, snap the camera in, put the screws back in, and you're down the road. Next, let's talk about something that we do a little different than most manufacturers. We're not using an I-beam frame for the chassis of the SportTrek trailers. We use the NXG Frame by BAL. The difference is there are no welds on the frame, and it's powder coated instead of just being dipped or sprayed. And anytime it has to be extended or anything attached to it, it's huck bolted. Now, a huck bolt, if you can see down in here, that's a huck bolt. It's a pin, basically. Looks like a carriage bolt on one end with a pin with deep grooves on it. There aren't any threads, it's deep grooves. And that collar you see here goes over and it gets crimped on there with 6,000 pounds of force. So that connection cannot change, it can't shake, it can't vibrate, it's not going to crack. It's not going to rust like a weld can on a frame. You typically see huck bolted frames on construction equipment, locomotives, aircraft. You'll see them on bridges, you'll see them on cell phone towers. So in fact, even high-end motorhomes, Class A diesel motorhomes have huck bolted frames. Now, is it overkill for a travel trailer? Yeah, maybe it is, but we've never had a failure. So that's a huge, huge benefit for our customers.